and it has an owl on it. How is the UK?
It was good. It was good to be back in a different headspace,
Yeah.
and it was good to just hang out with Sarah, spend time with her. It's good to see Crystal again in person and be a little bit more like involved within the PCA, like as like having an athlete there.
Hmm.
I just it wasn't the outcome that we wanted,
Sure.
A lot of the pros actually dropped out of the show, which was weird. And there was only one other competitor. And although conditioning wise, shit, she was not conditioned at all. She just has the genetics of like she's, I'm pretty sure I, not trying to get race involved, but just she's an African American. She has like the bubbly glutes already, the small waist. So
Oh
she has
yeah.
the structure, just not really muscle and no conditioning. But since she had the structure and bigger glutes, that's who got
Yeah.
it. So I mean, it sucks, and it always sucks to like only have two competitors. So like you get second, cool, but like you lost, you know. Um, yeah, it just didn't turn out how we hoped.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm talking to her about possibly switching kind of gears, and she's very fixed on Amsterdam Worlds at the end of it's November, but that's 24 and a half weeks. And I just think it probably would be in her best interest as an athlete. And I talked to her about this. I don't care about voicing it on here, but I just think, we need to bring up her physique,
Yeah.
and it's just going to take time. This prep, we had to push some measures that we typically don't push because we had a super short off season. So like, why would we do that again? So I'm going to probably pop on a call with her, just kind of hear her side. I want her involved in the process too, of course. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah.
There was some nice weather down south, and then, typical UK shit, like some rain every day. But it was nice. It was nice to be back there.
Good. I love that. I love that for you. And I'm glad you're able to go to the UK. And I'm also glad that you're back home safe and sound.
Thank you. And thank you for the groceries.
You're
Yeah, did you
so welcome. You're
lady?
so
That
welcome.
was so cute. Ah, I died.
I know. I told Eric, I was like, I bought Meg groceries because, like, when you come back home from any trip, but especially one where it's transatlantic, you are flying, you were sick, you were taking care of other people. I was like, bodybuilders don't just like fucking call up Domino's. Well, you shouldn't be, but most people would just like call up Domino's, go get takeout, and it's like,
Yeah.
I know you. And yeah, I'm sure you already had some meals packed, but there's nothing more comforting than knowing that you have at least a meal. So we had like some bagels, some fruit, and some meat. And it's like, even if it was just the most ghetto meal, it would have been at home in your own kitchen with your own
Yeah.
floor toaster, and it would have been so comforting.
It's working now. My switches. I can have uh counter
Countertop.
countertop toasted
There
bagels.
we go. We are
No
moving
more
up.
floor bagels. Moving up in this world, man. I'll tell you what.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
What
What's
what's
new
up
with
with
you,
you and the
Laura?
pearls?
What?
What's up with you and the pearls today?
Oh, I had lunch with a friend that I haven't seen in like 5 years, so I like decided to put on like people clothes. But these are actually my deceased grandma's pearls, so I was like
Oh,
representing.
look all nice and fancy.
That's how Ashley whipping her boobs out originated because all I saw was the pearls and it looked like her hair was like this in front of her
Yeah, it
boobs
was
and
like a
she had
mermaid-ish.
no shirt on.
Oh,
And I was like, what is going on right now?
we
Yeah,
record
Eric.
a podcast on Saturday and it's just tits out. Girls gone wild.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. How are you, Laura? What's new with you?
I'm good. All right. So last we haven't met in a little bit. So Josh and I went on vacation. We had a great time. I now see why you guys are always like complaining about how hot it is and humid and because it's so not like that here. It's finally starting to get warm here, but
Mhm.
it's like 78 and like totally dry. So
Yeah.
like totally different than your atmosphere. I swear to God, I lost
Miami.
like
Ooh.
10 pounds of sweat while I was in Florida.
Dude,
But
Miami is a different beast. Like Tampa is so much better, like weather-wise.
yeah,
Mhm.
Fuck Miami, man. I was
traffic.
there in February and I was like, ugh. It's just, ugh. It's like this, oh.
It's jungly when you feel
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah.
in the
And
jungle.
Central Florida is bad too. It's just like, it's like a lot of just thick air. Thick air
Yeah.
in your face. Yeah.
I feel like once you pass Tennessee, when you come down south, you're gonna be dealing with pit, tit, and clit sweat. And that's just like that's just what you sign up for the minute you pass Tennessee, because it's just the swamplands.
Mm, yeah,
Facts.
for sure. Yep, no, it was great. We had a
But
good time.
good time.
Good.
I'm excited because 2 weeks from today, I have my first male athlete ever getting on stage. We had a
Yeah.
failed attempt for one prior. We'll let that one go. But I didn't really think that I would have another opportunity after Josh didn't end up getting on stage, because not many men are going to be like, hey, you know what? I really want to work with you, 5 foot tall blonde female to be my coach. So, things kind of worked out unexpectedly, and Ryan looks really, really good. I'm really, really impressed with how
does.
she's
Good.
changed. We've only been working together for like 7 weeks now,
Mhm.
and his body weight has not significantly changed, but like the amount of composition change that's taken place is more than I've honestly ever seen for somebody that's also natural. So
Yeah. I was gonna say his physique is like coming to life.
Yeah.
He's got his natty shreds now. It's like it's
Mhm.
popping. He doesn't
Yeah.
look just malnourished.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
he's getting good work. Good work.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. This is a
Excited.
watermelon boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The one, yeah, he was eating like legit 2 pounds of water.
Oh,
We
that,
first
yeah.
started, yes.
I remember, yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
after you shared that, I actually got watermelon the next day. And it does, it holds a lot of volume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
For low calorie too. I
we
honestly didn't
did.
realize that until then, but
But I'm like, what watermelon? It's just like water.
Hmm.
It's not like a significant amount of like
Mhm.
fiber or anything like that.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
It was
properly
awesome, I
named.
guess.
watermelon.
Have you guys ever done the stevia and cucumber thing? Because people
I-
swear it tastes like watermelon. Yeah,
Fuck
Lori,
no.
you've done it?
I don't think it tastes like watermelon. I mean, I've
No.
done it like kind of prep pack when you're like really hungry, a
Yeah.
little stevia, a little salt, like for something to like just have a crunch to it.
Yeah.
But
You caught it, what?
just
Say
like
the S word again.
She
Salt?
says stevia.
You say stevia.
yeah. What do you say?
Stevia.
Yeah.
Oh,
Meg's like, what did you say?
No, because I just spent 10 days in the UK being shit on for how I say things. You know, like yogurt, they say like
Yogurt.
Yogurt.
yeah,
Yogurt.
but they
I'm
put
just
an
like,
H in it.
yeah, I'm like, there's no H. Yogurt. Like, yeah. we'll go
That,
with that.
another one that I don't understand is color when you see it like color.
Oh, the U. Yeah, and the favorite. Favorite.
That's confusing
Mhm.
me.
Yeah,
Barely can speak English as it is.
I know. Yeah, that's okay. I really can't. I can't pronounce shit, man. For the longest time, like, a trochee for
Yeah.
HRT,
Yeah.
I thought it was a troche. I was like, there's no way it's a
I mean,
troche.
I get that though, because you wouldn't say douche, it's douche, right? So I kind of
Yeah.
understand what you're talking about, because it's like
It just sounds more intelligent.
Yeah.
Troche versus trochee. Like, I thought I was right, and I was not. So it's fine. It's whatever.
That's amazing, actually. Ash, how's everything with you? Update us on your life.
good. I've been so motherly lately. I've been having people over for dinner, and Eric and I have been grilling out. So like a week, it's funny though. All the people, unbeknownst to me, have been cheeksters, and that's what I call people that are coached under Cameron Cheek. All of them were cheeksters, and we've just been grilling. We've been doing salmon, steak. Yesterday Eric grilled filet mignon. Good. Costco has some good steak, I'm telling you. But yeah, so I've just been trying to be a little bit more sociable, but we're doing well. Like I said, we just had lunch with a friend that we hadn't seen in 5 years, and that was a lot of fun. And training's going well. Like I can't complain. I'm just in a good spot. I'm happy.
Nice.
Mhm.
Fuck yeah. I
Yeah.
start my dieting phase next week, guys.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm excited.
What is the objective of this? Have you asked him like how dieted are we going?
Getting me down to like an 8-week outlook. So
Okay.
pretty shredded probably. Just to see, how my glutes actually look, like
More dug out.
post dieted down.
Mhm.
Because right now they're looking pretty full, but like we don't want to like diet down and then they just be shredded like striations,
Yeah.
I don't think they will. I think there's actual mass there.
Mhm.
But we'll see. I'm excited. I'm excited, and it will show us, because we're gonna do one more growth phase before prep, so
Mhm.
we'll prioritize obviously probably hamstrings and glutes. Um, yeah, I'm excited.
Good.
I
Are you,
haven't dieted. What?
are you gonna go to your friend Jill's show? Is that near you?
It's up in New Jersey.
Oh,
In
so she's
July.
actually from Boston.
Yeah,
So
Oh,
yeah.
she's
I
kind
was
of,
going, I was considering it because Shauna and Tay are gonna go up there, but I the first couple weeks of July are my dad and my sister's birthday, so I might make a trip home. And then
aw.
Christian is competing Masters Nationals, which is July 19th, I believe.
Mhm.
So I want to go there. That's in Pittsburgh.
it's great.
So it's just like a lot of travel.
Mhm.
And I think her show is like right like in between those two dates. And I'm just like, man. So
Mm.
probably not. But she looks fucking killer, man.
She
I saw her
does.
today and I was like, dude, like you look leaner than you were on stage. And you're still 5 weeks out. Like she's so happy. She looks great. She's
Yeah.
awesome.
She looks really good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm having a lot of fun with my like figure WPD crossover
Yeah.
girly.
Heck
It's
yeah.
one of those things where it's like this is my first prep athlete where it was like start to finish, and it has been so fun to finally get the opportunity to implement all of the, hundreds of thousands of dollars of like continuing education of theory to actually put it into practice. And it is so fucking rewarding, you guys. And I know you guys know this, but like it is so cool to finally like, be a student in the classroom and like be doing the damn thing and then be seeing as the body changes. Cause really the last like I would say 4 weeks, the body changes like the most. And so it's like we can play with refeeds, her tie-ins are finally coming in. We're playing around with like food sources and stuff like that. Cause it's like, well, after some refeeds, this front looks better, but the back of it kind of blurs. So it's like playing around with the physique and seeing what the athlete needs. Bro, that shit is so fucking cool.
It's awesome. She does look good. What made you want to do WPD as well? Because she was
She
all
it was
figure.
her idea actually, because she is very artistic. She
Yeah.
does like performance art, and she actually had a performance like 2 or 3 weeks ago, which is the whole reason why we actually did like a contest prep, because she had to be practically stage lean for her performance art because she was giving grant money from like the university to do this performance. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, well, if we're already going to be getting relatively stage lean, like at that point you might as well just what's another 3 4 weeks in prep shape to actually go for a show. And she really just loves the performance art of bodybuilding when it comes to WPD. And that's kind of like her end goal. So it's like, well, let's cross over now, see how you like it on stage and in theory, and then pack up shop for 2 3 years, put on some really quality size because she grows beautifully. And let's just see how you do in WPD, like I said, in 2 3 year time.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, if she's game for the long run. I think
Mhm.
that's how it should be.
Mm.
Yes,
Fighting
agreed.
that battle right now. But
No, I
oh,
get that. I get that.
that's
But
exciting. She looks
hmm
good.
yeah, I'm excited. It's one of those things where it's like you get into the lines of like seeing like the quads come in, but like obviously when you flip out, you still see a little bit of body fat on the glutes. You're just trying to like you almost want to take like a spoon and just like dig it out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, God
Dude,
damn it, it's like
Right
barely a
here.
pound.
yeah.
Legit. It's like I hate the term spot reduce, but if we could just zip, zip, and then like perfect.
I feel that with Kristen.
About
The
liposuction.
Masters. I posted her today. It's like her front shot's coming in, but
Yeah.
obviously we're in menopause this year. That was not the case last year. So it's
Mhm.
like she was in her head, but we're finally like caught up to where I don't like having like weight loss goals throughout prep, but it gives you a good gauge. So we're finally like on track. We
Mhm.
were behind for a little bit, but now like this month, like it was insane the progress that she's made, but it's her glutes. It's always her glutes. And they got shredded, but it's like it's the last minute and we're just
Mhm.
like sitting there waiting. But I'm excited for her. She seems very excited,
Mhm.
but yeah, God, those fucking glutes, man. Some people like they get in tight quick. Others, it's like day of the show. Okay, we're good now. But
Legit. And sometimes it can also be a posing issue where
oh
it's like if you aren't like bending your knees enough to really get those tie-ins to pop, and if you're not like tilting your pelvis, sometimes they can look fatter than they actually are, versus if you like do that posing adjustment and actually get the glutes and the tie-ins to stretch a little bit so they press against the skin. I had that with Frances. I was like, oh, you're actually leaner than I thought you were, because it was just a slight posing adjustment. So even that you have to factor in.
yeah, because one thing that she's very limited in is her like lumbar mobility.
Mm,
So like it's hard for her to like, tip it
mhm.
forward to like lift the glutes up.
Yeah.
So I told her like get a yoga wheel. You
Yes.
need to work on that mobility because I do think it's part of the posing. Because I'm
Mhm.
like, it looks like you're just standing there. Like we
Yeah.
need to physically lift up. So that's why I really do want to be there in person because
Mhm.
I just want to be there a couple days before, pose with her, tweak her because we jump on calls for posing and stuff, and she's at a posing seminar today, and it's like that's cool and all, but I want to physically like like with you, like stay there. But no, and I want to meet her too.
Yeah.
I love meeting athletes. I think that's so fun.
Mhm.
But
I
yeah,
I think that's like the one disconnect with online coaching
oh yeah,
is, especially in a contest prep towards the end, I think seeing the athlete in person is pretty imperative. If you can make that happen, just because, like you said, sometimes people are leaner or not leaner or whatever, and then like you need to know that to be able to adjust.
yeah,
Mhm.
and that is my goal this year is to make it to all of my athlete shows. We'll
Mhm.
see. I
Me
don't
too.
know about my girl out in Cali though. We'll see. That's a stretch. That's pretty far. So that would be cool.
Yeah,
Went to the show?
absolutely.
I don't know the exact name of the show, and honestly, she's looking great, but it's just another thing, like her back shot just needs to come in, and we have 5 weeks, so I'm like, we may just push the show out a little bit
Mhm.
longer, which I know she doesn't really want to do, but it's like,
Yeah.
do you want to show up at your best? And we'll be at her best, like given her last showing, but it's like, you know, or if we'll do this show at like, 85% and then do the next one at 100%,
Mhm.
A bad idea,
shake off
honestly.
the shake off the cobwebs kind of thing.
Yep.
Um, but I'll run it by her, see how she feels. I think we just have to dig a little bit harder. I don't think her last prep she like actually like
Doug.
dieted and
Yeah.
dug. She's like, this is crazy. And I'm like, what? She's mentally like so good. But
Yeah. I
then
think
we
that's one of those things where like I think so many people put too many of their eggs into peak week, thinking that's when like the magic unfolds.
be
No,
ready by peak week.
you should be ready almost like a week or two
Oh
before peak weeks,
yeah.
if you can, because
Yeah.
peak week ideally you're just vibing, you're
Yeah.
chilling, right? Like you're not doing your cardio as much, like food is either, like just holding steady, or maybe you're doing like, a linear carb load or something like that. But I think people think peak week is legit like the magic week, and really it should be like the rest week. But like if you were actually digging like 10 weeks out to that 4 week mark, that for me is when the magic happens, because then you finally get to the point where the little, like little dials, the like 0.1% of
Mhm.
sodium or carbs or water, like that shit, you can actually see a difference in the physique. But if you're still fat, bruh, we can't see anything. You know what I'm saying? So like really the magic happens when you learn to fall in love with the dig days or the dig weeks, because that's when your character is tested. That's when like those who actually want to become their best, that's when that shit is like developed and comes out.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, like yes, there is like peaking, like nailing a peak is awesome, but you have to be ready before.
Mm.
Because like there's some athletes I'm just like, we're just gonna keep digging throughout peak because
Yeah.
we need that week, to get you in shape. So
Mhm.
I have an athlete right now that's doing wellness. We're doing her, this is her first show ever.
Mhm.
And we're just as of this week, we're 10 weeks and we're doing two shows. So 10 weeks and 11 weeks. And I said to her, I was like, this is a whole new level of like starting to dig. Cause for that
Mhm.
reason, like I want her at least close by like 4 weeks or so. So we have
Mhm.
that time that we don't get stuck in a like, oh shit type of mentality and trying to go
Mhm.
crazy too close to the end. So we can actually have that time to
Mhm.
coast in, especially being our first show. I want it to be a good experience.
have you
Absolutely.
posted her? Did you post her?
Rachel, yeah.
I just like to have a name to the face, a face to the name, whatever the fuck.
No, for sure. I mean, the one girl that I did a rescue prep for, Tessa, she just originally wanted to hire me for peak week. And I literally on the call, I was like, I'll fuck it up because I don't know your body. You know what I'm saying? Like peak week is not this magical time of all these special manipulations. If I don't know what you fucking need to peak, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the more time I get hands on where I get to learn your body, learn your mind, and see how your body responds to my protocols, you will have a better peaking experience. And that's why we were ready like 2 weeks out, and we were just literally like she's like 5 foot nothing, barely 100 pounds, eating 400 grams of carbs, 85 fat on her high days, like legit, like that's stupid. That is so stupid, but that's what she needed to fill out and have beautiful bubbly muscles. But I think a lot of the times people think that peaking is like the holy grail, and if they were fucking off or cheating during prep, oh, we get to fix it during peak week. And it's like, no. Like I said, ideally you're just chilling, you're vibing, like you're probably touching base with your coach daily, if not multiple times a day, depending upon how they do their peaking process. But like it's one of those things where it's like, wait for your coach's instructions. So that way you're not walking too much, you're spreading your carbs out evenly, or you're following their instructions, not because like it's a la-di-da, like chill out week, but because like we just want things to be controlled. So you do bring your best come Saturday, or like maybe in Crystal's case, Sunday, since she was a pro. It's like all of those variables matter. Just wait for your coach so that way you guys can work together to bring your absolute best.
Yep.
It was Sunday, right? Did I get that right?
No, yeah, you did. Good.
I wasn't too. Sometimes it's
No,
like
just like, I'm just saying, like, your coach has your best interest in heart. Listen.
it's hard
Point
though, right?
blank.
Because you're doing hours of cardio and it's almost weird not to move. You almost feel like you're messing up if you're not
Yeah.
like 20,000 steps, right? It's weird to be like, feet up, chilling on the bed because you're like, what do I do with all this time? Like it's almost nerve-wracking.
It is.
Broke my
I hate
seat.
that. I hate that part before competing, that you do just need to like chill the fuck out because you're already anxious. So like, what do you want to do when you're anxious? You want to fucking move.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I get it, but there's a rhyme and a reason to everything. So to go off of that, it can kind of mess you. So it is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah. But I think let's kind of talk about why it might be good to rest. Like obviously this is given the caveat that you are in shape, you are ready, right? Because some people unfortunately are having to dig during peak week. But let's say you did your homework, your coach got you ready on time. Peak week ideally should be about resting the physique, because we all know what a inflamed physique looks like or feels like, especially the feeling. It doesn't feel good. You don't feel sharp. But so it's like reducing cardio, maybe reducing steps. Maybe if you're one of those where if you push food too much, you start to blur the line. So maybe it's not necessarily being aggressive with food, but using food to reset the body to fill out the muscles. But if you're still like go, 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 and you're pushing high amounts of food, like maybe it fills out the physique, or maybe it just blurs everything and you end up like going from super sharp to super blurry, and like that's not necessarily what we want either on stage.
Because I mean, we have to think like, I like to think of peak as like a way to kind of flush the body before we step on stage. And if we are like running around constantly, our legs are inflamed, like it's just driving up cortisol in our body. And that's also going to impair your digestion. So it's better to just relax, like take this chance to just finally relax. Like you did the work, like you're done. There's nothing you can do from 3 days. Well, there's a lot that you can do, but hypothetically, like there's nothing that you can like drastically do for most competitors in the last like 2 days of prep. Like you just need to relax and trust that you did the work. And if you didn't do the work, well, that's dumb. That's on you. But like, I just don't understand why you would want to make your body more inflamed by running around like a chicken with your head cut off, Like just eat your meals, put your feet up, take your Epsom salt baths, go on your walks. That's it.
I think like what Laura said was right though, where it's just like you've been going on like full fucking blast for 20 plus weeks, that to literally do nothing, it almost makes you anxious because you feel like you should be doing something. You feel like you should be getting more steps or doing more cardio because like that's what you've been doing, like I said, the past like 20 plus weeks. So it's weird just to like sit in peace.
Yeah. But I mean, tip sometimes, like if you've had like a refeed during your prep or something, typically the next day you look better because cortisol is drive down and you physically just feel better. You're not as famished. And it's like the same thing. But I know it gets mentally like, in 2 days' time, you're going to be pretty much naked on stage and you're expected to just eat like 400 grams of carbs and sit in a bed. Like that's very like mind fuckery. But,
Welcome to
it
bodybuilding.
yeah, seriously. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
I
doesn't
think though a better use of your time instead of like being nutso with your steps, because that was definitely an issue with me, use it wisely. Like use it to envision how you want show day to look, your hair, your makeup, your presentation. Don't use it to doom scroll through Instagram, because how many times are we just mindlessly scrolling, looking
yeah.
at the other competitors, or looking at other people where it's like, oh, she looks better than me, or is she at my show? And then you end up like causing another stress response because you're doing the self comparison, like I said, doom scrolling. So it's like read a book, make a baller show day playlist to kind of get your head in the game, but don't like be looking at food porn places. Don't be following other people that you know might be competing. Like, if anything, just like put your phone in like, the bottom of a rice bag somewhere and like lose it for just a bit, just so that way, again, you're not like stressing yourself out mentally either. Cause I definitely did that. And holy crap, that's like a new level of anxiety when it comes to just like looking at other people.
It's just all self-sabotage.
Hmm.
And you don't realize it in the moment. You're like, oh, it's just harmless. Like you're just like checking to see who's there. But
Hmm.
deep down that you are just comparing. Like, what
Hmm.
is that actually doing for you? Because it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
You're not judging the competition. The judges are. You don't know how that person's gonna look in 12 hours.
Hmm.
Like we say, like, yeah, we can't make a drastic change, but yeah, you can if you fuck up, or if you don't rest, or if you skip meals, or if you do your own thing or something like that, you can look so much drastically different on stage. So it's really not worth it.
Hmm.
And the food porn shit. Can we like just stop? Can we
Dude.
stop? It's so bad. I'm like, do you not realize I did it too in the past, during my preps, but now that my relationship with food is like good,
Mhm.
I'm just like, how disordered is that? Like you aren't worried about spending time with your family after this. You're worried about, oh my God, like what restaurant's going to be open? What dessert place? Like I need to get all these snacks together in my room. It's like, holy shit, guys. Like, what did you do this prep actually for? For the treats or for proving yourself that you could do something crazy like this? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, ugh.
I mean, it's bad when we have fucking companies sponsoring the goddamn shows.
I
That's
know
embarrassing.
everywhere.
That is
Yeah.
so embarrassing. But it's like, I am all for having like a nice meal. And
Mhm.
if you want a dessert, sure. But like, guys, we know what a fucking cookie tastes like. You don't need a cookie the size of Laura to eat post show. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know what a cookie tastes like. We know what like foods taste like. So it's like, eat a nice, wholesome meal and like share dessert or something like that if you want it. But like Meg's saying, like the real reward is your hard work that you brought your best to the stage. Because like if this sport was so easy, everyone would do it. And everyone right now wants to do it, but they're doing the sport a disservice because they're not showing up either conditioned or with the right like muscle balance for their division. And lately it's been both. And so it's like if we want bodybuilding to be like this, I hate to say elite, but like this elite sport that has like defined criteria and we're not meeting said criteria, that's a problem.
Yeah. And honestly, like, how good are the big cookies? Just saying. Like, I like a basic ass, like, chocolate chip sea salt cookie.
Ooh.
When you add too much shit to it, you're just like, what am I actually eating?
It's like the Oreo phenomenon. It's like double stuff is too much, single stuff is not enough, but you need one and a half stuff. But they don't make that.
I don't know, man. The singles, the lemon ones, Have you had the lemon
You
one?
like the lemon cookies?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
My favorite Girl Scout cookies.
I
Like
should
the
probably exit this conversation.
why? Do you not like lemon?
No, but I also don't like the stuffing of the Oreos. I just want the cookie.
That's so cute.
You
No,
don't like
Eric's,
cream? You don't
you
like cream in your
guys,
mouth?
that's listen, I have a pearl necklace on, so y'all lose that argument. But okay, so here's the Eric's favorite cookies are these off-brand cookies that you could only get from either Walmart or Kroger up in Ohio. The brand is called Psst, and it has an owl on it, and it's his favorite
Wait, what?
cookie.
Was that the
Yeah,
oh,
it's called Psst, like it's Psst brand, and it has a little owl on it, and legit, it's like literally $2 for like I swear to God, like 60 cookies, and they're lemon flavored, and they are his favorite cookies on this green earth. So I think that is so cute that you also like lemon cookies.
I love lemon, but ooh, oatmeal cream pies, Little Debbie. I could give me all the cream pies in my mouth. That's good.
And Laura, can you
Guys-
relate to cream pies or no?
I don't like cream. I'm not a.
Rip to
All right,
Josh.
thanks. Well, she's a virgin.
Laura, I don't like cream. So okay, then what is your like ideal cookie then? If you're not like into Oreos or cream pies or anything like that.
Soft baked chocolate chip cookie.
Okay,
Okay,
not
that's yeah.
technically pancakes. Cookies.
Legit, the fucking auto caption was like,
I know.
like,
No.
oh my God. No, that's fine. I'm definitely an oatmeal raisin bitch. Like, I'll be honest. I know that's like such a to most people, it's such a gross cookie, but like
I like those too.
oatmeal raisin is good. Like, I just
love-
enjoy it.
Are you oatmeal raisin with like the icing though?
It doesn't need to have icing. No, no. It just needs to
Oh,
be
like the hard
oatmeal.
icing on
Yeah,
top.
no.
Like
Yeah,
kinda
no,
like-
those are like more on the. I don't like a snappy cookie unless it is. It needs to be like an Oreo or something where it's like if it's soft, it's like. "Mm." But like, I like a soft cookie. Like cookies should be soft and gooey, not
Yes.
like slap it and it
like a
like
ginger snap. Ginger snaps are I can't do them.
yeah,
Like they're hard as rocks. My dad loves them though.
that's cute.
All right. Well, we just talked about.
Listen, we had our little
Yeah.
detour, but we're talking about normal size cookies. Like I said, not the ones that are like what you divide by 12 because you know damn well you're
Those
like,
are heavy too. Those are like
Dude.
2-pound cookies.
They are
Dude.
like
Like
pounds.
dense too.
Yeah.
for
That's
sure.
crazy.
For sure. But yeah, like no cookie needs to be like if it serves 12, come on. And we're not talking like cookie cakes either that you get for like little Jimmy's 6th birthday party. We mean like just the
Like,
ones that like people
yeah.
just have no business eating in one sitting, but you know they do. It's like Gollum being hunched over a fish. That's what you see at like shows because the girls are so deprived of food that they want like these brownies and cookies that their stands for because they literally are promoted at the show. They're sponsors and they have like their just fucking
That-
spiel.
That's actually a good kind of avenue to go into from here is like what you're bringing with you food wise after show. Don't
Okay.
go out and get, 7 different types of cookies and brownies and this and that like you've been waiting throughout your prep to be able to have after. I see people like almost like hoard things that they're looking to have. Like bring your normal food. Don't go and buy extra shit if you want to go out and have something. But when you're like purchasing cases of things and then you're bringing them with you, you're bringing them home with you, that's when you're like setting yourself up for a binge. Especially
like-
if hunger
Yeah.
cues are so dysregulated.
Yeah, and like guys, like holy shit, the food's still gonna be there. I promise. Like, and I don't want anybody watching or listening to this to think like, oh, they think that they're like perfect and like they've never done this. Like, no, it's
We've
because
lived
I've
it.
done this. Like, I've done this, and you wake up feeling shit. You don't like your reverse goes shit because your relationship with food is so
Mhm.
shit. Like, just like Laura said, like bring your own food. I understand like bringing like, I don't know, if like grandma made you cookies or something, like bring those like, okay, cool. But you don't need to be buying like all the different variations of Oreos to bring with you and like all these different nut butters and things. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I get off stage, I just want a lot of fruit and a lot of water.
Fuck you, Eric.
Big ol'
Fuck you.
steak. I don't know
He-
why.
I legit gave the same answer. He's like, "You want cold fruit post show?"
Yeah.
Fuck you, man.
I don't know
It-
about you, but I'm going for a diet soda.
Ooh, Diet Coke. Ooh.
First thing. Like something with carbonation, because
Diet
like
Coke, fruit,
cut that.
just double fist.
Mm,
No,
God.
but and not to play, it's not devil's advocate, but like I've never binged as a bodybuilder, right? I
Mm,
thankfully, like, this sounds bad. I already had my binge episode, right? So I knew when I got into bodybuilding, that shit was not going to fly with me. Because when I had the binge eating disorder, I would not wish that on someone I hated because you feel so out of control and you cannot stop. You cannot stop until your body tells you you are done. And by that point, it is 20,000 calories in, your heart is palpitating, your fingers swell up to the size of sausages, you look like you're about to give birth to twins, and you cannot move. It is a level of discomfort that, like I said, I would not wish on anybody. And the bad thing is after like 3 or 4 days where it finally, like you finally like regulate, you forget how shit you feel and it starts all over again. And it's
yeah.
cyclical. And so it's like if you can just be smart with your reverse post show, like I said, have a nice, honest to God meal, a protein, a veggie, a fruit, a starch, and a small dessert or something like that, and call that good. You are going to be eons better the next day because you won't feel like dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And like it is, like you said, like your mind, like it literally like shuts off. It's like you're out of control.
Mhm.
And that's why like it's different, like a binge episode versus like just overeating.
Mhm.
Post show, you'll probably overeat in a sense, but if you're being present with your family or if you're enjoying the meal, like I don't think it's bad. Like, I typically do like sushi or steak, and then I have a dessert, and then in the morning I'll go out, like have brunch, and then I'll get back on plan. That's typically my go-to for every show I did.
Mhm.
But I mean, I did have periods where I brought a shit ton of food. And I remember it was actually after I pulled out of, it was after the Tampa Pro. I did shit. I wanted to do WPD, and then I pulled out of the prep because my eating disorder was like shit.
Mhm.
And I went to Charleston with Anthony because he was competing in Junior USA's. And I remember I got high as hell and I had the munchies, but then also it turned into a binge at his show. Holy hell, my ankles were like triple the size. I was scared. Like I was like, should I go to the hospital? Like it can be that
It's
bad. You
scary.
don't think of that in the morning, in the moment,
Mhm.
but it does catch up quick, especially, if you use a diuretic, if you're actually pulling down really, really hard during peak, like
Mhm.
this is not the time to fuck around like that. And people take it lightly and they do like food challenges right after prep. And I'm just like, guys, why are you bodybuilding? You're doing it for the clout. Like,
Mhm.
that's not it. But
I think it would be good to talk about kind of the difference between binging and overeating because bodybuilding, since we track everything that we eat, almost lose any type of auto regulation. And so if we eat off plan, at least for me, if I used to eat off plan, I would talk to Eric and I'd be like, am I binging? And just eating like an extra snack. And he's like, no, that's not a binge. Cause like I know what a binge is, but it's just so different mental wise when it comes to like what's the difference between a binge and overeating and then like just a normal person snack that's just not being tracked. It's like we kind of lose that spectrum because it's just like we're so focused on hitting our meals and hitting our plan. So it's like a binge for me when I was going through that whole episode, it is out of control. You
yeah,
cannot stop. The only way I would get myself to stop eating is to spray chemicals on my food. So then my brain would recognize, oh, hey, you eat this, you die. So like that was how I stopped versus you overate because you're hungry. It's like, well, you might feel a little bit fuller, but you stopped. Like you made the conscious decision to stop eating. And like that's for me, like kind of how I classify the difference between binging versus just overeating a little, you know?
yeah, that's exactly how I would say it. And like, I think it's the binging and overeating, and then also understanding what um being bloated is. I feel like that also
Mm.
gets thrown around, but the binging and overeating, yeah. Like if you eat off of plan and just have like an extra meal in addition to your other meals, that's just That's not a binge. That is just you being a normal human being, eating a little bit extra that day. You know, of course, like in a prep setting, you don't want to do that, but still, it's not classified as a binge unless like you are physically and mentally like out of control, like going through every cupboard and like everything. It's like, it's honestly, like you said, Ash, like I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Like, 'cause it is so, such a, I don't know, you feel so weak, like such a weak moment that food is literally controlling you.
Mhm.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy. But yeah, the overeating versus the binging, those words just get thrown around. Like the binge word just gets thrown around like crazy.
Mhm.
But it's actually a disorder. It's an eating disorder, binge eating disorder.
Mhm.
Like people don't realize that. And but then they'll go do like the 10,000 calorie challenge. And I'm like, what do you consider that?
That's not even, yo, when I had a binge eating
That's
disorder, that wasn't even a challenge, right? That was just another day at the fucking office. Like for me, I would eat shit that would shame pregnancy cravings, right? And like looking back, it's funny, but like you guys, I would eat like cold fried chicken and cold potato wedges as like the savory, and then like a whole box of like Honey Nut Cheerios. It's like the food combinations don't make sense. It was whatever was available and whatever was high in calories. Like my body did not want to go through the effort of literally heating up chicken. Like that was just like too much effort and too much of a time waste. I needed calories. I needed it now. So you're just like opening the fridge doors, eating standing in front of it, like you're high as fuck 3 a.m. with the munchies, but like you don't have the munchies in terms of
yeah.
being high. Your body just wants calories.
Mhm.
Oof.
And I think post show, when you are in a very vulnerable position and you feel like your relationship with food kind of suffered a little bit towards the end, which it's common, even if like your coach has the best interest in mind, like your best interest in mind, sorry, and you're very good with like your self-talk and all of that and going about it, like you still get a little bit of disorderly, you know? So that's where it's important to kind of voice those concerns to your coach. Don't hide them. Don't feel like you're gonna be like they're gonna be ashamed of you or anything for messing up your reverse or anything like that. It's better to tell them so that way the next time it happens, like you have like a way to kind of troubleshoot and get you out of that quickly. Because like shit, like you mentioned, that's weird. Just saying, like the
Oh,
cold
so weird.
that, but like that happens when you're binging. But like I remember I would literally go to Walmart, you know, the single serve like cake slices. I would buy like tons of those from the bakery and just sit in my car eating them. That's fucked. Like, because I didn't want to take them home, because then my parents would be like, oh, you're eating like a normal person or something. And then I would feel ashamed or something like that. So I was like, I'm just gonna eat it real quick for my post-workout and then go home and eat post-workout. Like it was so messed up. But yeah, that's how I knew. That's when I told Jason, I was like, yeah, this my eating disorder is definitely coming back full blown. Like I need to take a step back. And I'm glad I did, because now here we are in the best mental space of my life.
I think that's really great that you could recognize that in the moment. And that would be kind of my next thoughts too, is like if you know that this is something that you've had tendencies, and like some people are very good with while they're in the moment to being able to recognize these type of things. I'll be honest, I'm not. I've definitely struggled on and off with eating disorder tendencies, disordered relationship with food on and off since I was like 17. I'm now 36.
Yeah.
And when I go through a prep, that's something that when I have other people like supporting me, whether it's a coach, a loved one, whatever, like I make sure before even starting that prep, like, hey, this isn't the hard part for me. The
Mhm.
coming out and letting go of that, like I want to go as fucking balls in as I can to getting shredded is the hard part of coming out of. But if I'm in the moment, I can't tell you that because I don't even recognize it.
Mhm.
So if you're someone similar to myself that maybe don't go through the like binging or whatever, but like that like gripping control is something to discuss ahead of time. So you're kind of almost in a preventative stance when it
Mhm.
does come time to taking actions you need to get back to like being healthy.
Mhm.
Uh, honestly, I hadn't competed in 3 years, and like this time around last summer, it was too late by the time I recognized that that was still something that kind of
Mhm.
creeps up for me even till this day. So it's important to even recognize it yourself so those around you can help you too.
Mhm. When you've struggled with eating disorders in the past, and I don't want to speak for all people, but personally for me, restriction's easy. because it's safe. You have nice little neat boxes you can compartmentalize. And like I said, it's a safety mechanism because you can control every little thing. Restriction's easy. It's the binging where you have no fucking control, that you have out of body experiences. It's almost like you watch yourself just lose control, and not having that control is scary as fuck. So it's like Laura, I completely understand, like giving up the control of like being okay to like put on body fat, to reverse, to do like normal human activities again. That can almost be scary because it's like, you let loose a little bit of control, and then sometimes you can let the rope slip, and then it's like then you spiral out of control. And that's how we have like people that do end up with like really bad eating disorders post prep, because like they just it's like they had such a tight grip where they almost got rope burn, and then like they had to let go because they were in so much pain, and then they just spiraled.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
at the end of the day, too, as an athlete, not even just from like a disordered stance, but from like a internal health of like getting your menstrual cycle back, your gut health in a good place. I mean, that takes it a hit too. All of just like normal processes that you want to resume just to feel good as like an everyday life, like that needs to take place. And I think that the longer you kind of postpone that, the longer you put yourself in a position to not feel good.
Yeah. And I think I'm seeing this a lot more lately. Well, I got a question in my Q&A, and it was like pretty much similar to this. Like, what do you say to your athletes who struggle reverse dieting, like, or post-show with like the body fat coming on and all of that? And like I always voice to them, this is essential. Bodybuilding is that's what this is. It's not constantly dieting down, and we need to get like your hormones into a good place, your mental health into a good place, your cortisol, which is probably like through the fucking roof, like stabilized. We need to get your hunger, like signaling cues back into a normal place. And that requires, putting on body fat, especially as females. Um, I think some coaches are a bit too, I don't know if it's because they want that clout of showing the client like 8 weeks post show and like only X pounds up from stage weight, and they still look ridiculously shredded and awesome, but they nailed their reverse. But I'm like, okay, but has their menstrual cycle returned? Have their hormones optimized? Probably not. So I think they draw out that reverse dieting for so long. Like I've seen it take like up to 10 weeks to get someone reverse dieted. Like, of course, we don't want to like throw a shit ton of calories and make them fat,
But like
but
one rice cake each week.
yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna do 10 to 15 grams of carb increments like for the next like 10 weeks. It's like, oh my God, like you could have been in your growth phase already. Like, and that's why I don't know why I think coaches are timid with that because, they want to keep them lean, but like still like they're gonna cheat, they're gonna eat off plan. And when they do, if they don't have a lot of food increasing each week, it's probably gonna be a big old meal, man, like the Last Supper shit. Like it's not gonna be pretty. So I think as a coaching standpoint, like we need to be okay with increasing food a bit quicker, and decreasing cardio expenditure a bit quicker as well. That is actually like the first thing I do. It's like, 3 to 4 days post show, it's like just don't do your cardio. If you don't have a show, of course, like in the future, like just cut it. And of course we increase it again and like keep it in part of like the reverse diet just to keep things moving. But there's no reason that you should be doing like 2-a-day cardio sessions like 4 weeks post show. So
Yeah, much like peak week, your reverse diet is literally reversing all the things that you did when you were dieting. So instead of like wanting to reduce body fat, you want to put it back on, which means you're going to be eating more, you're going to be moving less, right? You're training ideally like some people need like 2-3 weeks off after they competed just to like be out of the gym. Like there are some people that are like, I don't even want to see the gym. There are some people that still enjoy the gym atmosphere, but we're not training balls to the walls. It's probably like a little bit of reps in reserve just to allow your adrenals to just fucking come back online, to make sure that, thyroid hormones start to repair. Everything that was depressed starts to come back up. So it definitely is a huge mental battle, but it starts with making sure that you're nailing your reverse and you're listening to your coach, that you have a reverse plan, that you don't just compete and then your coach is like, yo, peace, bitch. Like you have a plan, you know what you're doing, you asking the right questions so that way you can execute your protocols. You're coming off your drugs, like hopefully you're not like hightailing the drugs for like your contest prep and then ramping them up even further for the rebound without giving your body a fucking break to even breathe. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, you know what? I had a consult call and this girl said that her coach put in semaglutide post show to help with her cravings. And I'm just like, this is where we are? Okay. I was like stunned. I was like, okay, sick. But
How are your gut issues?
what?
And how are your gut issues?
Honestly, right? It's just fucking
Mm.
bullshit. But I think also the girls who worry a lot about this are looking up to competitors who have been in the game for so long.
Mhm.
And they're like, well, she can stay leaner in an off season like me. Like I can stay leaner wherever the fuck I am now. I guess I'm in an off season still. But like I can stay pretty lean because I have a lot of muscle now.
Mhm.
Couple years back, like post show on in Tampa, like I didn't look like this post like in my off season. I looked, I guess, like a normal person. But like now it's like I'm relatively lean, and these girls like are comparing themselves to, you know, somebody's chapter 20 with competing and they just started competing. It's like you can't expect your off-season body to look like that just yet. You have to get repetitions, skin in the game, man.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's
I think
all
some people never look like
social
that.
media, right?
Even if they are pros, some people can't stay that lean.
Yeah, some can't.
Yeah.
Genetics come into play.
But also like Instagram are pictures. It's
Yeah.
like you don't know what they fucking look like in real time. That might have been a photo shoot from last spring that they're just posting, but they're not saying, "Oh, I missed the shreds." They're just posting some either bullshit sponsorship caption or something about, you know, Yanni steaming their vagina and how amazing they feel, but they're not telling you the truth about what they actually look like, which is
Yeah.
why I love how transparent Meg is, since she is an IFBB pro, about, yeah, like I'm not dick skin lean all year round. And yes, even though she is lean relatively, she's
Mhm.
still not in contest prep shredded. Like she's not, but it's like, regardless, this is the best she's ever looked, but it doesn't matter to you, the individual, because you were not Meg. Meg is Meg.
I am.
And
That is
Meg's a damn good Meg.
I think a lot of too what you're seeing too is like you're saying is people are just not even showing where they're really at. Like they're not refurbishing, recycling
Mhm.
photos from
Yeah.
preps and whatever. I will say like I can't really no one's coming to mind for bikini, but at least for wellness, like if you look at both Issa and Fran, they show their off seasons. They show that they get softer. They show that they're not like always peeled. And I
Mhm.
wish there was more of that because that's like real reality for most people.
Yeah. And I think, that's a very toxic habit to, I urge people to break. I get it. Like we get prep goggles and we take these awesome pictures during prep, but we look at them and we're like, wow, I look fat as shit. I'm not posting that in a million years. And then you come into your off season, you look back on, prep photos and you're like, oh shit, yeah, like I'm gonna post that. But then you get into this vicious cycle of just posting your old prep photos that you become so disconnected in your own skin at this moment that you end up like hating how you look because
Mhm.
you're constantly just looking back on prep. So I think in order to break that is you should share your training, share how strong you're getting, share your yummy meals that you're eating now and your time with your family and friends. Share more about you and your life. Like
Mhm.
there's life outside of bodybuilding. People get so wrapped up in like, oh, but look at me like when I was like 3 weeks out. And it's like, no, that is actually very toxic. And I see a lot of people get into that. Um, that's something I try not to do in the off season. A couple weeks like post show, I'll be like, yeah, like throwback. But then like once I'm like a couple months down the road, I'm like, nah, enjoy like my lifts, man. Like, and this is bodybuilding, showing the real deal with it.
Yeah.
I think
Good
people
said, Bethany.
fear if they get a little bit away from the like rigidity of like close to being in prep and what it's like to have, you know, double cardio sessions and extreme dieting, all of the above, they become less of a bodybuilder as opposed to like being able to also have other things in their life. And if you're really looking to be in it for long term, you need those other things. This is the first off season I've ever had that I've been like okay with not staying super lean, not like letting bodybuilding solely consume my life. And honestly, it's been the most progress I've ever made and like the most fun and enjoyable I've ever had with like the process of working back to being in a place to do a contest prep.
Mhm,
It's
That's
weird.
great. That's growth, dude. That's awesome.
mhm.
Really good.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that too with you, going on vacations, enjoying like your time with Josh and everything. That's awesome.
Mhm.
What should
Thanks.
happen sooner? Fuck, I'm old now.
You're not fucking old. Shut up. Not old. You're in your
Oh,
prime, baby. You got money. You got titties. Come on.
it just
Sounds
always
good.
comes back to the tits.
Tits. You got money and tits, man.
What else do you need? Fuck.
Pearl necklace ain't bad. Just saying.